Everybody, and welcome to Wednesday's video. I'm going to share a little bit with you the defense of living in a mobile home. You know, a lot of people have a lot of things they like to talk about people who live in trailers or people who live in mobile homes. It's a stereotype that I think it's time we dispel the myth of living in a mobile home. You'll hear the saying, "Oh, that's trailer trash," or "They're so poor they live in a trailer," or "They're so poor they live in a mobile home." So let's discuss these myths. Mobile home life has been something that has been in my life my whole entire life. I only got to live in a mobile home in the last 9 years. But my dad made a living selling and buying and having beautiful mobile home parks. He would have mobile home parks for the 55 years and older, retirement villages, and they were beautiful. So mobile home life is something that I know a lot about, but living in a mobile home was something I never did until 9 years ago. Nothing irritates me the most is when people talk about those that live in a mobile home as degrading, as poor, or as people that are dirty and trashy. Living in a mobile home actually has a lot of benefits and blessings from it. In a mobile home, your taxes are a lot cheaper. Your expenses are a lot cheaper. You're living in a tiny home, so to speak. A mobile home was tiny living before there was tiny living. Now, my mobile home is about 1,000 square feet, which would not be considered tiny living, but in 1963, it was. Mobile homes are a beautiful thing. In fact, mobile homes will appreciate in time. Mobile homes can appreciate, but it depends on where you're living and it depends on your climate. Are you living in an area where it's a depressive area where housing doesn't bring very much? I live on a 1-acre lot, and my mobile home is worth probably 2 to 3 times the amount of what we did when we paid for it because it was dilapidated. But we turned it into something beautiful. What it's like to live in a house where we had debt and had the high mortgage bills. I know what it was like. Sure, the house was beautiful on the outside, but the peace of mind we had was nothing. We would go to bed wondering, how are we going to pay $1,200 a month in the mortgages? When we downsized everything, that meant we downsized our philosophy on life. We downsized and realized that it's living in your means and being able to pay your bills is what's important. And if that means living in a mobile home, well then so be it. Every night we can go to bed in comfort knowing that our bills are paid and we are out of debt. My mobile home is a beautiful place where I find a lot of peace and comfort. It's a place where it's beautiful, it's old-fashioned. A lot of people come to my home and say they didn't even think about it being a mobile home. It looks to them like a ranch house because I've taken care of it. The dispelling of the mobile home myth of thinking that has to be thrown out the door. We stereotype everyone, don't we, though? We stereotype in the way they look and the way they dress, the way they speak, as I talked to you in my Sunday's video. They think, oh, because you speak different, that maybe you're not so intelligent. Well, the same is with living in a mobile home. They think, oh, well, if you're living in a mobile home, that means you don't have any money or you can't pay your bills. Actually, some of the richest people in the world are the ones that you would not think are rich. In fact, they live that way deliberately so they can save their money. You know, in this world, we take too much stock on what we can see. 90% of the world that look rich actually are deep in debt. But they have that facade because they want people to think that they are worthy and they are given attention. Sadly, most of them live a very struggled life, wondering from day to day how they're going to pay their bills and how they're going to keep up the facade of being wealthy. But then you have a lot of people who are like me. We're tightwads. We want to save our money. We want to live in peace and harmony. We don't want to be in debt. I had to work really hard to get out of debt. we made sacrifices. And as a woman, I made a lot of sacrifices because all of the things that women like to do. You know, they like to go to the hairdresser, or go get their nails manicured, or buy expensive jewelry or shoes or clothing. I realized all these things early in life didn't really matter. What mattered to me was safety and knowing that I own what I have and that I have it paid clear. So if people want to make fun of those of us who live in a mobile home, go right ahead. But we're laughing all the way to the bank because we know that we can pay our bills and that we have money that we can save and use it for things that we need. Cheap living oftentimes means living in a mobile home. And I think it's time we bust those myths and stereotype all of the people that live in mobile homes and trailers, because there's a lot of us who live mighty rich lives. Take care, everyone. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I can't begin to tell you how happy I am with these sunchokes. As you look, I'm walking down like this path. I'm making this path like in my garden. It just gives it so much privacy when you live in an urban or suburban area. I just think it's great because you almost feel like you're by yourself. And that's the whole idea. I want to shade out all of the houses and all the people around me, that I can actually walk down here, have complete privacy. And I think that's beautiful. So next year I'm going to have it go the whole length of the garden and have little walkways. As you can see, I have walkways that go around it. So that's one thing I did this year that I am really pleased with. So this is like the garden, and there's the house, and you can see all of the things in front. It's just so cool. Oh, I'm just so thankful for these sunchokes. I just think they're beautiful. I'm all about trying to create peace and serenity and quiet. And I don't live in the country, so to speak. I live more in the suburbs, and I live in a neighborhood. But slowly I'm turning into my own little Garden of Eden. I love my home. It's so frugal and it's so cheap living, and I don't have the debt. I don't have the problems with worrying about paying my bills. And I think it's a very nice, beautiful home. So we're going to walk down to the end of my property, and I'm going to show you the view of my mobile home and my 1-acre homestead. I was trying to search when I began my channel about homesteading in a mobile home, and there's so little information on it. I couldn't believe it, because living in a mobile home is a great way that you can learn to homestead. Well, here we are. We're at the end of my property line, and that's looking up onto my little homestead. And now we're at the end of my property on the other side. And here is the back. I also want to take the time to share with you that my son gave me a very old air conditioner. Now, it still gets about 80 degrees in the house, 80 to 82, but it takes the humidity out. And I really want to thank him for giving me this, because it does make a little bit of a difference that I'm not quite so hot and sweaty all the time, especially when making my videos. So I really want to thank him for it. It doesn't take the heat out like it would like a regular air conditioner, but it does make a difference. And we found out it only uses about the same amount of electricity as this big fan that I was using. So I really am not spending any more electricity than I was when I had this big old fan running. So I did want to clear that up with all of you, just to let you know that I am having something just a little bit to make my life easier. Take care, everyone. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And there is the trellis. And there is the mobile home. My channel focuses a lot on mobile home living and homesteading in a mobile home. If you like this subject, please check these videos. I have all of these videos just for you and lots on a playlist. See you guys tomorrow.